What's going on, Menace Militia? Thank you so much for coming back to the channel for another episode of Market Menace Trading. This is an emergency update. We had movement on the Grayscale BTC Trust Spot ETF application. The court ruled that the SEC had no legitimate reason to deny their application and has made a ruling on that. Actually, let me go ahead and pop into that real quick. So Grayscale wins the SEC lawsuit. Crypto asset manager Grayscale BTC Trust has scored a major victory against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in its efforts to convert its over-the-counter GBTC application into a listed Bitcoin ETF. According to August 29 court filings, U.S. Court of Appeals Circuit Judge Naomi Rao, sorry for that, ordered that Grayscale's petition for review be granted and for the SEC's order to deny the Grayscale Bitcoin listing application to be vacated. Previously, Judge Rao said that the SEC did not, quote, offer any explanation as to why Grayscale was in the wrong. However, the order does not guarantee the listing of a Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin has exploded on the news, absolutely exploded on the news. So I'm waiting for it. I managed to ride this up at the perfect time, actually. Took a couple trades in and out of here, most of which were pretty successful. So what I'm waiting for now, Bitcoin kind of stuttered out a little bit. So I apologize for the impromptu nature of this video, guys. Completely unprepared for this one. And again, I apologize for my absence. I'm now a full-time student studying business and entrepreneurship. So that's kind of been taking up quite a bit of my time. So I do apologize for the absence. But this is big news. I wanted to make sure that you guys were getting it here. And I wanted the Menace Militia to remember that I did not forget about them. Okay, so first things first, zoom out. All right, monster 4-hour candle in the making, about 50 minutes left in it. At this point, we have completely closed what was a monstrous fair value gap here, the fair value gap candle that created the swing low down here at 24,740, right around there. A lot of sideways action, a lot of chop, and then bang, Bitcoin, Grayscale, court case news, and just a huge explosion. The most volume I've seen in Bitcoin in a week. That obviously since this. I mean, this candle hasn't even closed yet, and as of right now, it's kind of chopping around inside of the much larger Fibonacci golden pocket, which is here in this area here. Let me go ahead and make this just a little bit darker for you guys. I want you to be able to see that. There we go. That should help. So, in my opinion, when it here in this area, this is the most dangerous zone for Bitcoin. If it's going to get a rejection back down, it's going to happen here. And also, there's one other thing that I really want everyone to understand and pay attention to is if I zoom out on this and we go to, let's say, the 3-day chart, then we are on approach for something very, very important. The area that we are approaching right here at right at the convergence point of the trend line and the 0.786 Fibonacci zone, you have the annual support that Bitcoin failed to hold. And actually, this order block actually failed as well. We actually went just a little bit lower than that, but this order block held perfectly as of right now. So I would absolutely be cautious about taking any kind of a long position with the intention to hold it all the way up past, the 28,600. That is an area where it is very likely to reject. And the reason that I say that is because let me clean this up just a little bit, guys. Like I said, I was completely unprepared for that move. Let me just clean all this up. Boy, there is a lot going on here. These are all just order blocks and everything that I had from before, so let's go ahead and get rid of all this. Even get rid of that fair value gap for now. I'll put it back if it ever comes back into play. All right. The reason that I am saying to be cautious on this trend line here is because whenever you have a major breakdown like we had, it's very common for once that break occurs to get a retest and then a continuation to the downside. Now, if that happens, I mean, at that point we would start, sizing up these areas down here at about 20,600, maybe even as low as 19.4. But I mean, we're a long way away from that. A lot of things have to go really, really terribly for Bitcoin in order for that to happen. So as of right now, I don't even think that's on the table. But I would absolutely be cautious about a short-term long position right between the area that it's in now and the bottom of this trend line. Okay, that is absolutely going to come into play, where I will start getting extremely excited about potential movement to the upside is when Bitcoin takes out basically this range right here between the 28,700 and the 29,600, that $1,000 range. That is a that is a 3-day order block right there. So it's massive. This entire area from where Bitcoin is now until the top of that is at risk for major rejection. Okay. But I will say, if we are successful in breaking that 3-day order block right there, if we are successful in doing that, then at that point we can start to get very excited. In my opinion, we can start sizing up some very important targets to the upside, and challenging some really important. There is a monstrous bearish fair value gap up here above the entire pattern between 32,600 basically and 34,200, a really, really big bearish fair value gap there, which will or should attract the price. As of right now, Bitcoin is still kind of dancing around inside of that Fibonacci golden pocket there. And you can see it really, really well on the daily there. So be aware of that. Checking the RSI, though, I will say this. Bitcoin's RSI was absolutely buried, and it has been for about 2 weeks now, ever since we had this dump here back on the 17th. Now, we are not even halfway. We're right at the halfway point on the daily RSI. So there is absolutely room for Bitcoin to continue, at least as far as until it is considered, quote, overbought. So as of right now, on the daily, it is not overbought. So looking at the 4 hour, it is extremely overbought. So I would not be surprised to see some sort of a short-term pullback. But the 4 hour RSI has the ability to be buried either to the upside or to the overbought or the oversold territory for quite a while during powerful moves. So looking at the 1 minute, because now I want to start sizing up as to whether or not there are some trades that can be done here. What I'm looking for are confirmations of breakouts. This looks like it's trying to do that. And I want to see Bitcoin start sustaining itself again over the 9 and the 21 exponential moving average on the 1 minute time frame. I really want to see that. That looks really good for continuation, though. I will say that too. I mean, I don't like to trade, support and resistance patterns. I think that they are incomplete ways to trade. I don't think you get the full picture. I do prefer my smart money concepts, but I will say that the majority of the world does like, they do like to trade these types of patterns, and I can tell you that is starting. I mean, that definitely looks like a symmetrical triangle or a bull flag. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick sell side liquidity sweep, maybe down to the bottom of the golden pocket one more time. And if it does that and it can recover, I would expect that we'll come up and challenge the swing high and probably the top of the golden pocket. But I mean, those are a lot of big ifs. If what I'm really looking for here is I want to see Bitcoin maintain its presence, its order blocks, excuse me, its presence. Oh my God. I want to see it maintain its order blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and tone this down just a little bit. It's a little bit hard for me to see. Okay, so there we are. Okay. So setting the pattern aside, setting the support and resistance aside, let's look at this from a different point of view. I can see that I have an order block to the downside, which so far has, well, it hasn't even been tested yet, so I don't know if it's going to hold or not. I can also say that this is the swing low here between these two swing highs, and we haven't quite taken that out, but we've definitely tested it. So that is what I would consider to be kind of a weak order block. I don't think that this, I mean, if I was going to mark it, I would mark it like that, but I would be on the lookout. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin's going to push right down through that. It will probably come down and test this. And the reason that I'm saying that is because I have a swing high. I have a swing low. I have a failure by the bulls to create a higher high. I also have a failure by the bears to create a lower low. But then the bulls failed again to set another higher high. So I'd call it even on the scoreboard right now between the bulls and the bears. So I'm looking at, that is right there. That is a break of that swing low. So the bears have scored. So now I'm going to be looking at if they are able to push the price down below that right there. That swing low on that order block. If they're able to break this order block, this one's smoked. I would be looking for some sort of a pullback, probably down to this range initially, at least. These are huge 1 minute order blocks. My God, that's a $90 1 minute order block. It's gigantic. I mean, they're more commonly, at least lately, they're more commonly in the, $10 to $15 range. I mean, that's 3, 4, 5 times that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start marking those order blocks. But I can tell you this right now. I mean, Bitcoin loves to rebalance itself. And this move right here, that I don't know if we can just leave that alone, because that's one hell of a giant fair value gap to the downside. That is a bullish fair value gap, and I'll mark that there. That is a huge imbalance that has not been mitigated. It neither has this order block, or excuse me, neither has this fair value gap here. That has also not been mitigated. Excuse me, there. That has not been mitigated. So for a minute I thought it was, but that was just the box. So yeah, it's risky taking a trade here. But the RSI on the 1 minute has cooled off quite a bit. The area that we're at now is at about 43 on the RSI. That is the same area that we had down here. So Bitcoin is capable of, it has the room on the 1 minute RSI to go ahead and push. So let's take this to a different time frame. And what we're looking for is confluence. We're looking for confirmation on multiple time frames. That on the 3 minute time frame looks really bad. That looks like a double top here and a rollover. That seems like a dead cat bounce. That's what it looks like to me. And actually on the 3 minute, this is a much, much bigger fair value gap right there. So I think that it's, wow. Other than that, though, the other ones are good. There isn't, what I mean to say is there's not a fair value gap here in this range. So this one being partially mitigated, I would be okay with. Wow. What a move. What a move. Trading during these times is, boy, I don't want to say it's easy, but I think it's easier because there's clear momentum movements. This is the 3-minute here. I'm trying to see if maybe we're interacting with the 5. Yeah, oh, we are. Okay, so the 5-minute 9, the 9 exponential moving average on the 5-minute time frame is here. So go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so there is a chance that Bitcoin will continue to push back up if it can hold the 9 exponential here on the 5-minute time frame and also hold this order block, and I believe that's on the 1-minute time frame. So that is a little bit of confluence there, but we are absolutely testing that. I would have expected a stronger bounce on that. So we did not get that. That 5-minute was buried to the upside at 97.61. I mean, that's almost maxed out. I'd be very surprised if we did not get a pullback. Very, very surprised if we did not get some sort of a pullback to mitigate some of these order blocks. Because taking a trade here, I mean, I got a huge fair value gap here to the downside that starts at 26,230 and doesn't terminate until 26,582. So, I mean, that's a pretty big fair value gap after an extremely energetic move. I mean, you're talking about, wow, the volume on that candle is huge. That was 10,000 Bitcoin being transacted just on MEXC alone in a 5-minute time frame. That's pretty wild. That does look like it wants to hold that. So now what I want to start seeing is I want to see it start getting above some of the other smaller time frame moving averages. So the bounce on the 5-minute 9 EMA is good. This is the 50 EMA on the 1-minute time frame. I'll get much more excited when Bitcoin is traveling back above all of its moving averages. So right now it is not doing that. It's above the 5, yes. It is not above the 3-minute 9 EMA, and it is not above either the 9 or the 21 exponential on the 1-minute time frame. So as of right now, I would say the bears are still in control. Now, as far as a short setup, taking a short here, it's not bad. You have a very, very clear, I would call that a blow off top, or at least a long wick on the top of this candle showing a lot of selling pressure, right? So that's 27,006 to 27,690, right around there. Okay, so it's about a $90 range right there. It's substantial. That push down on this order, I would call it this order block right here. Go ahead and make that a little darker. There we go. That did create a fair value gap, so that is absolutely a valid order block. This is going to be a very important supply zone, so I would be on the lookout for rejection there. The pushback, mitigation of of all of that fair value gap was fully mitigated on this push down here because this candle took it out. So the fair value gap has been filled, but it is a lower high. Again, a lower high. No fair value gaps here. So as of right now, just here in this, what people are going to call the bull pennant or this descending triangle kind of thing. As of right now, I would say that everything has been mitigated within it. So the good news is if Bitcoin does decide to push up, it will be because people are genuinely wanting to buy it, not because they expect it to fill any of the fair value gaps that were created during the push here, just inside of this pattern. That's actually really nice right there. That is a partial decline, which basically just means instead of getting full travel all the way through. Got a partial decline here, a retest, and instead of coming all the way back down to test the trend line, it gets stopped a little bit beforehand and tries to make a reattack on that. That tells me that the bulls are still present, but there is a lot that needs to get taken out here. These little moving averages right here are everything right now. Reject. Okay, so the 3-minute candle is about to close, and it's very indifferent, kind of doji candle kind of thing. But that is a slight rejection off the 9 exponential in the 3-minute time frame. Got a new 3-minute candle forming now. And let's see what the 5-minute chart is looking like. So far we have held support over the 5-minute 9 exponential. That is good. That's definitely good. And that RSI is crazy. That might push again. Wow, yeah, that might push again. The 1-minute RSI has certainly cooled off enough to get continuation to the upside. I will start sizing up some sort of a long position here. I mean, because this is a huge range right here. I mean, it really is. So, I mean, geez, wow, that's crazy. All right. Man, every trader in the world is going to have their stop loss right here. What a target. Ugh. Wow. I got to go with my gut on this one. I think it's going, I think it's going to push. We'll go ahead. We'll take that long there. All right. All right, so I got my trigger order there. Man, I am just a sitting duck for a sell-side liquidity sweep. I don't usually like to do that, but I think there are enough retail traders in the market right now that if they see this break to the upside and get support over that, I do think that they are probably going to buy. I think they're probably going to try to frenzy around it. That may have been a little early. Maybe maybe that was a little bit early because I did not wait until the break here. Let me see if there's other ways that I can draw this that are going to be a little bit more convincing. Let's see, right about there, I would think. Yeah, okay, buy side liquidity take, partial decline, retest of the trend line. They're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. So this is the 1-minute time frame, but we're above the moving averages as well, which obviously can change very, very quickly, but I did at least want to see that. So I'm also going to prepare my sell order immediately because I really don't want to take a big hit on this one. And these are the opportunities. These are the moments where if you're going to take a big hit, it's going to be in these ranges before it's made a decision. But based on the huge amount of volume that we just saw here, I think it's very likely that this is causing some sort of, that this little consolidation pattern here, it feels like a pause mid rally, you know. And I think that, I mean, this is a huge range right there. I mean, this right here, I mean, this move just from my entry, I mean, you're talking about, wow. If I can ever grab it, that would be amazing. There we go. I mean, that right there, I mean, that's a $420 move right there. So my position isn't really that big. It's 0.47 Bitcoin, so about half a Bitcoin on this one. So let's see. I absolutely expect that there's going to be some hesitation here. So this is what I'm looking for initially. Check this out. every time it comes down to challenge the order block, it goes a little bit lower. And now that we've really started to do that trend, I would be looking for rejection at 27,496, which, I mean, that's a pretty substantial move in its own right. I mean, that, even on this trade, I'm already up $24 on this trade. So I have my finger on the sell button. But I would be very surprised if we didn't come up and at least challenge that. So when the hesitation starts at 27.5, I will probably close the position. Unless it just blasts right through it, of course. And if that happens, well, I mean, at that point, we're going to be sizing up the top of the Fibonacci, I would think. So I will actually do that one in bright green because that would be a bullish break of structure if it did get the continuation. I'll make it just a little bit bigger so everyone can see that. Okay, so it broke this descending level of resistance here. It looks like we are going to get some kind of interaction right about there, I would say. So if that breaks, I would say that we have a very good chance of challenging this and this order block. RSI agrees. RSI looks like it had cooled off sufficiently in order to get that kind of continuation, in order to get that kind of move to the upside. So, yeah, trying to enter during a really powerful rally is very, very dangerous. Any stop loss you set during a moment like that, I mean, you're almost guaranteed it's going to get hit unless your stop loss is gigantic. And if that's the case, then the size of your entry had better be reasonable, because otherwise you're going to take a hit that you don't want to take. No, I think we get the bounce here, and I think it continues. Yeah, I think these two little moving averages here, I think they end up holding. Got about 10 seconds to find out. That's a nice candle. I mean, even if it were to close looking like that, I would prefer a smaller body on it with a longer wick. But, I mean, that's not bad. We're probably going to get one more test down here. Now, we have created a very small order block here that I'll be keeping an eye on. And there's also one down here, but I'm not going to mark it because it kind of interferes with this much more important order block. But there is one also right here. And there's also one down here. So far, we have not gotten the move up to here. It looks like we didn't even, well, so far we haven't even gotten a test of this trend line right here. So I don't know. I'd be pretty surprised if we didn't get at least a touch of this before it pulls back. But yeah, that actually looks really good. If that candle can close green, and it did, yeah, I think we're going to come up and test this little swing high right here and the top of the trend line. Got my finger on that sell button because this can move really, really quick, really, really fast. All right, let me go ahead and close this tab because I think it's slowing my computer down. That's better. And now we wait. Okay, 27,423. Really, all we need to see here is the bulls successfully set a higher high, even if it's just done kind of incrementally. So taking out this little swing high right here would actually be pretty important. After that, I would be looking for this one to get taken out, then sequentially this one, the order block getting broken, and then challenging both of these swing highs here. But the most important swing high, obviously, is going to be here at 27,686, which is, I mean, that's a pretty substantial move. Okay, we're up about 8.3% on the trade now. There is the trend line touch. Let's see. RSI, in my opinion, has reversed and is starting to make its way back up. I mean, we know that RSI can get absolutely buried up here at 94, 97, right around there. I mean, it has that capability. So we're only at about 60. We're not even overbought yet. So that was a nice cool off. That is technically a higher high on, or technically a bullish break of structure, which is when the price takes out the previous swing high set here. So that's what we just did. So now I would be expecting a reattack. Yep. And a higher high would be nice. We also kind of have an order block here at 27,453 that it's going to interact with as well. So we're just kind of dancing around that range right there. I'm getting ready to sell. Got about 20 seconds left in this candle. See what happens. I've noticed that during powerful moves, during consolidations on the 1 minute time frame, generally speaking, the first 30 seconds of a 1 minute candle, whatever direction it goes, it will usually end that candle in the opposite direction. That's not, guaranteed, obviously, but very often that's the case. I think if it rejects here one more time, we will probably start to get a move down if it rejects here one more time. So I am waiting and waiting. First 30 seconds of that candle's done. First 30 seconds was a move up. Zoom right in on this. If it takes out the bottom of this candle body here, it's going to come down here. There we go. That's important. Come on, break that little swing high right there. We're right there. That pierced it. There we go. Bang. Okay. Let's get the move. That's a good 1 minute candle. Definitely is. I wish it didn't have a top wick. Yeah, that top wick is going to make it come back and test the trend line. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we just get the push right here. Let's go. Whoa. Get back here. Okay. So even just right there, I mean, that's, that puts me up $32 on the trade or so. Up 10%. And I will sell if that falls back below the 9 exponential moving average here. We're up 34 on the trade. Looking for that continuation. Definitely don't want to see red candles start to form here. I want to see a green candle with no top wick by the end of this candle. But at a minimum, I don't want to see it fall back into that trend line there. Boy, my computer is lagging right now. I have a feeling if I try to pull the trigger on this, it's going to be a solid 3 or 4 seconds before it executes the trade, and that's a lifetime. All right. 27.5 is what I got my eye on. This little, the candle open here. Everybody in the world is watching this chart right now. Or is watching a Bitcoin chart right now. Probably Binance is the one that's being watched the most. But this is MEXC. I mean, the volume on MEXC, though, is bigger than the volume of Coinbase. There's the test. Do we take it? Yep, I'm taking it. Yeah, that took way too long. Okay. I'm being very, very skittish on purpose because it's way too easy for that to slam down. So if I see it pull back and it's going to eat up my profit, I'm not going to enter. Now, if this takes out that little swing high that it just created, though, I will absolutely re-enter, which it looks like it really wants to do. So basically right there. So I'm ready to go. Let's see what happens with this candle. That looks pretty good. I think I'm going to just enter here. Oh, I got a perfect entry. I don't even have to adjust that. Bang, let's go. I think I still have a trigger order open, don't I? Yep, get out of here. Put it right back where it was, though. For the updated amount. And get ready to go. Close long, okay. All right, so I'm looking for that touch of this right here, and then a challenge of these swing highs here. I should probably mark those, I would think. And then this one as well. And why not? We'll do that one too. This I'm not really worried about at the moment. Let me get rid of that, because I'm much more concerned with that as a area of resistance. Be very surprised if we didn't get at least a test of this area here. There we go. If that sets a new high, if that takes out that little swing high right there, it's going to look like a picture perfect bounce on the 9 exponential. There it is right there. Excuse me. Okay. On approach to that area. There's the retest. See, there is the interaction right there. That's what needs to get broken. Looks pretty good. Told you it'd have an interaction there. It was pierced, though. Depending on the size of the top wick here, will determine whether or not I sell. That's not very strong. Rejection wise, it's not even, it's about half the size of this rejection here, so I think we get another reattack of it. Now if it goes up and fails again, well, if it goes up and fails again, I would be very surprised to see that. Actually, you know what? Wow, these are big moves, man. Wow, that's 260 from my entry right there. So that'd be 130. That is too much. This is my favorite feature of MEXC, by the way, is being able to do this. Drag and drop that stop loss. That's much more manageable there. Yeah, 27,340. What's that look like? 56. It's quite a bit, actually. I will sell this before I let it get there. We'll sell at 5%. So it'll be about $20 or so, right around there. Basically, if it fails to hold the 21 exponential on the 1 minute time frame, I think we are actually back inside of that trend line. Be very surprised if we were not. Okay, that's a retest of what it is. Not the end of the world. I don't think that's correct to hold that there. this is probably closer. Yes, that makes much more sense. Okay. Still a bull. It's still a bull pennant. Still a symmetrical triangle. Actually, is it? I got 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Yes, yeah, that's a confirmed symmetrical triangle. So what you have here is you have the breakout, and it looks like we're trying to have the retest, and it looks like it's trying to hold that support. So that's actually pretty good news for us. For me, if you're short, this is terrible news for you. All right, so we got the 9 exponential. We are back above that 9 exponential on the 1 minute time frame, which means we are back to my entry. So this is a really great opportunity for the bulls to set a higher high. And I'm pretty confident that if we take this out, we're probably going to take this one here out. This one here, though, is going to be an issue because that is inside of the primary order block here. Remember, this is going to up here. This is going to be a pretty big supply zone that I would imagine there's, I mean, number one, there's going to be a ton of short stop losses in this range. But I guarantee you this, if Bitcoin is able to get above this area right here, you're going to see a quick jump straight to the top of the golden pocket if it's able to break this swing high that we set on the initial rally up. Watching this very, very closely because now this area just above the golden pocket is probably going to have even more short position stop losses there. There is a huge liquidity pool above that. I guarantee it. So if we are able to break the golden pocket, at that point, I'm going to be sizing up 28K, which is also going to be a liquidity zone. I mean, that's a 2% move for Bitcoin right there. I mean, that's $550. I mean, that's a nice move. You know, I'd clear about $225 on that trade. So we'll see what happens. Okay, not good. Lower high. I am absolutely ready to sell this. If that breaks the swing low that was set here, then I'm out because that is a double top right there. Bang, bang. Bears are doing a good job of keeping us guessing right there. That's what if that breaks, I'm out. I don't care if there's this trend line here or not. I'll re-enter. Because we're only about $90 away from my stop loss here. So I would rather honestly just have that's out. I'm out. Bye. Almost went on a tangent there and forgot. Yep, that looks like a double top right there. Wow, that RSI may very well come down here, which would make sense now that I think about it, because if the RSI was allowed to be pegged this high at about 94, Bitcoin loves to balance itself out. That would mean that a move down to, I mean, that's what, 3, 4 points, 6 points away from being at maxed out. So, I mean, that would give it a, that'd be a 6 down here. That would be the proportionate balancing move. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's definitely on the table. Now, a move like that is going to require a pretty strong, depending on when it happens, it would require a very strong move to the downside to do that. I mean, you're talking about re-entering probably the 26.6 range, right around there, testing this order block, maybe even halfway through, or all the, I mean, maybe filling the whole damn thing. Who knows? I'll tell you this, if Bitcoin rejects here and comes down and fills this fair value gap, and takes out this tiny, stupid little order block at 26,170, like, that's horrible news for Bitcoin, because I have a hard time believing that it dumps right now. being that Grayscale just had such a amazing victory over the SEC. Or, well, I mean, I guess I don't want to call it an amazing victory. The real victory is when the SEC stops being trash and approves a Bitcoin spot ETF. The fact that we had an asset that hit $1 trillion market cap and still didn't have a spot ETF for it is absurd, in my opinion. That is just pure prejudice against crypto. Yeah, get Gensler out of there, Nazi. It's crazy because he used to actually teach a blockchain course at MIT. You guys can actually view it online. It's a good course. I mean, the guy definitely knows what he's talking about. He fully understands blockchain technology, so he definitely can't claim ignorance when it comes to Bitcoin. He knows exactly what it is. Okay. Get rid of that now. Start cleaning that up. That seems like it wants to push down. So that means that this right here is a buy-side liquidity sweep, and we're almost at the end of this little consolidation pattern here as well. So right there is the apex, and that is, I mean, that's at like 12:05, which is in about 15 minutes or so, right around there. So I would expect, I don't know, maybe something like this, a push down here, taking the liquidity here, testing this order block, and if it's going to get continuation to the upside and this order block here is going to have to hold, then you're going to get that move like that. If it does not, if it ends up just, this order block here is smoked, by the way. We just took out that little order block there, but it was kind of inconsequential, but it was definitely there. I was hoping that it would act as some form of support, but clearly it did not. Let's look at some of the other moving averages and see where they're at. I bet that's on the 5. Yeah, it's pretty close. So I got about a minute or so until this candle closes. If this candle closes below the 9 exponential on the 5-minute time frame, then I would be looking for a retest of the 21. And where's the 15? The 15 likes to be support after big rallies as well. So a cool off and showing any support over the 15 is pretty good news, I would say. Man, that fair value gap is an absolute monster on the 15-minute time frame. Let me just look at that. Wow. That's a monster fair value gap for a 15-minute time frame. Wow. What are you, 26.2 to 26.9? Oh, boy, a $700 fair value gap. Yikes. Right underneath the golden pocket, too. The main golden pocket for the entire pattern. Like if I zoom out and I go to the 4-hour, you can see. So we've fully mitigated this fair value gap here, but we do also have another one up here, which, in my opinion, should draw the price up. So right now we're just kind of contending with this 4-hour candle right here, this order block right here, which is unfortunately directly above the golden pocket. So it's kind of a nightmare. And this 4-hour candle is going to close in less than 5 minutes. So it's pretty freaking important that there not be a monster top wick on this, or you're going to see a pretty bad pullback. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to be able to get another trade out of this. I don't really feel comfortable taking another trade on this yet. But as the day develops, guys, in between my classwork, which is substantial, I will see if I can pop on and give you guys an update as to what happens. I will keep my ear to the ground for any more spot ETF news, anything regarding Grayscale, or anything to do with Bitcoin spot ETFs. I'll absolutely jump back on. But again, guys, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Thank you again for coming back to the channel. And again, I apologize for my absence. I will try to do better for you guys because I do care about the Menace Militia. I really do. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, profits over wages. Take care.